So this is your next question from Cat24, the third slot. Do pause the video and try it once before you look at the solution. So for some constant real numbers p, k and a, consider the following system of linear equations in x and y. Px minus 4y is 2 and 3x plus ky is a. A necessary condition for the system to have no solution for x comma y is. Now, we know that whenever we want to check the nature of solutions, unique solutions or infinite solutions or no solutions, we take the ratio of the x coefficients and the ratio of the y coefficients and the ratio of the constant terms. So ratio of the x coefficients is p by 3. Ratio of the y coefficients here is minus 4 upon k. And the ratio of the constant terms here is 2 by a. Now, whenever we have no solutions, meaning the two lines are parallel, in that case, the ratio of the x coefficients would be equal to the ratio of the y coefficients, which won't be equal to the ratio of the constant terms. So if I take these two terms into consideration, when I cross multiply, I will get Kp is equal to minus 12, or Kp plus 12 must be necessarily equal to 0. But I don't see any option that matches. The D1 is quite contradictory to this. It says Kp plus 12 is not 0, whereas I should have Kp plus 12 necessarily 0. So nothing from this particular part. From second part, we can notice that minus 4 upon k should not be equal to 2 upon a. If I cross multiply, minus 4a should not be equal to 2k. If I divide by 2 on both sides, I will have minus 2a is not equal to k. Now I can take minus 2a on the right hand side. It will become 0 is not equal to k plus 2a. Matter of factly, 2a plus k should not be equal to 0. And this is very clearly our A option. So that's how we solve this question. A very simple question. It was a sitter question that you should have solved at all costs. The answer is option A. 2a plus k should not be equal to 0. Hi, don't forget to check out my course for the quant section of the CAT exam, where I've explained all concepts, tips and tricks, shortcuts and past year questions in great detail. Alright guys, this is your next question from Cat24, the third slot. Please pause the video and try it out, and you can resume for the solution. The question says, after two successive increments, Gopal's salary became 187.5% of his initial salary. The percentage of salary increase in the second increment was twice of that in the first increment. Then the percentage of salary increase in the first increment was, right? So there are many ways to solve this question. Like there is one method in which you can use the successive percentage change formula and solve for x to get the answer. The initial percentage change be x percent, the second percentage change would be 2x percent, and now use the formula x plus 2x plus x into 2x upon 100 is an overall increase of 87.5. Now additionally, you can plug in the value of x from the options and check which one satisfies the given relation. Lot of complications, but yeah, that is one way of solving. Now the other way is you can use the options. Let Gopal's initial salary be 100 rupees. Okay, if the first increment was 20%, his new salary is basically 120. And as per the question, the second increment should be double, means 40% here. So now the new salary should be 120, and 40% of 120, that's basically 48. 120 and 48 is 168. The new salary is 168% of the initial salary, but the question says it should be 187.5%. So we have to rule out this particular option. Once again, we check the other option, C option. So if the initial salary was 100, the first increment would be 25% as per the C option. The new salary would be 125. After this, there is an increase of double, that is 50%. So 50% of 125 is 62.5. So now the new salary would be 187.5 rupees, which is indeed 187.5% of the initial salary. So yes, the answer would be the C option. That's the second way of answering the question. But now let's look at the fastest way of getting the answer. 187.5 is a very amazing number. 187.5 can be split as 100% and 87.5%. 100% in fraction would be 1 upon 1 and 87.5% in fraction would be 7 by 8. If you add these two fractions, you're going to get 8 by 8 plus 7 by 8 or 15 by 8. The question tells you that the new salary of Gopal is actually 15 by 8 times the initial salary. So since there have been two increments, the initial salary got multiplied by two fractions and it became 15 by 8. So let's break 15 by 8 in such a way that I will get two fractions or two increments and the second increment should be double the first. So if you notice carefully, 15 by 8 can be split as 5 by 4 into 3 by 2. So the salary became 5 by 4 for the first time, and this basically indicates there is an increase of 1 by 4th or 25%. Similarly, when the second increment is calculated, the new salary of Gopal will be 3 by 2 times the previous. 3 by 2 is basically 1 plus 1 by 2 and 1 by 2 is 50%. So as you can see, initial increment was 25 and the second increment was 50%. Double, right? Thereby the answer is first increment is 25%. This is a very quick way of getting the answer. If you can manipulate or if you can just observe the fractions here, that's how we solve the question. Answer is option C, 25%. Hi guys, let's look at this next question from Cat 24, the third slot. Please pause the video and try it once. So the question says, if 3 raised to A is 4, 4 raised to B is 5, 5 raised to C is 6, 6 raised to D is 7, 7 raised to E is 8, and 8 raised to F is 9, then the value of the product A, B, C, D, E, F is. The first way of solving the question is by chain substitution. We know that 3 raised to A is equal to 4 and 4 raised to B is equal to 5. So in this 4 raised to B, we substitute the value of 4 as 3 raised to A. So it becomes 3 raised to A the whole raised to B is equal to 5. By the law of indices, this part becomes 3 raised to AB is equal to 5. 3 raised to A the whole raised to B is 3 raised to A into B. Now this value of 5 we substitute in the third equation. 5 raised to C is 6. So 3 raised to AB the whole raised to C is equal to 6. In the place of 5 I have put 3 raised to AB. Once again, using the laws of indices, this part would become 3 raised to AB into C, or 3 raised to ABC is equal to 6. This value of 6 we put in the next equation. We get 3 raised to ABC, the whole raised to D is equal to 7. Since I had 6 power D as 7, I put 6 as 3 raised to ABC, right? So by the laws of indices again, I will get 3 raised to ABC raised to D will be 3 raised to ABCD, that will be 7. This value of 7 I put in the next equation. I get 3 raised to ABCD, the whole raised to E would be equal to 8. By the laws of indices, 3 raised to ABCDE will be worth 8. And this value of 8 I'll put in the last equation. I would get something like this. 3 raised to ABCDE the whole raised to F is equal to 9, or 3 raised to A, B, C, D, E, F is equal to 9, and 9 is nothing but 3 raised to 2. So now the left hand side of the equation is equal to right hand side and the bases are also equal. We just equate the powers. So A, B, C, D, E, F should be equal to 2, and this is the answer to my question. A, B, C, D, E, F is worth 2. So this was one way of answering the question using indices. The other way is we can use logs. We can use the laws of logarithm to solve the question. 3 raised to A has been given as 4. So we transform this into logs. We will get log of 4 to the base 3 is equal to A, which can be further written as A is equal to log 4 to the base 10 divided by log of 3 to the base 10 using our property of base change in logs. Now similarly we can write B is equal to log 5 to the base 10 divided by log 4 to the base 10. C can be written as log 6 to the base 10 upon log 5 to the base 10. D can also be written in similar way. D can be written as log of 7 to the base 10 divided by log of 6 to the base 10. Same for E. E will be log of 8 to the base 10 divided by log of 7 to the base 10. And finally, F will be log of 9, 9 to the base 10 upon log of 8 to the base 10. The next step is I will multiply all these values. I'll multiply A into B into C into D into E into F is equal to, on multiplying, log 4 to the base 10 and log 4 to the base 10 will get cancelled out when you multiply A and B. Similarly, log 5 to the base 10 and log 5 to the base 10 will cancelled out if you multiply B with C. If you multiply C with D, log 6 to the base 10 gets cancelled out. If you multiply D and E, log 7 to the base 10 cancels out. And if you multiply E with F, log 8 to the base 10 cancels out. Finally, I will have only two terms, log 9 to the base 10 divided by log 3 to the base 10. Again, using the property of base change, this can be written as log of 9 to the base 3, and 9 to the base 3 is nothing but 2. This is how you solve the question using logs. The answer for A, B, C, D, E, F is nothing but 2. Hello everyone, so this is your next question from CAT 24, the third slot. You can pause the video and give it a try and resume for the solution. So the situation is shown in the diagram here. A circular plot of land is divided into two regions by a chord of length 10 root 3 meters such that the chord subtends an angle of 120 degrees at the center. Then the area in square meters of the smaller region is. So this AB is the chord of length 10 root 3 as given in the question, and it makes an angle of 120 degrees at the center of the circle. We want the area of this region as shown in yellow. So first things first, OA and OB are the radii of the same circle. That makes triangle OAB an isosceles triangle. That means the base angles are going to be equal. So angle OAB and angle OBA are going to be equal. And let's call them as x degrees each. Now in triangle OAB, sum of all the angles is 180 degrees. So angle AOB, which is 120 degrees, plus angle OAB we have taken as x and angle OBA also as x. The sum of these three angles is going to be 180 degrees. So I will get x plus x. 2x is equal to 180 minus 120 or 60 degrees. And that gives me x is equal to 30 degrees. So we have found the base angle OAB as 30 degrees. Now in triangle OAB, we can apply the sine rule. We can say that sine of angle AOB upon AB will be equal to sine of angle OAB upon OB. Sine of angle AOB will be sine of 120 degrees upon AB has been given as 10 root 3 is equal to sine of angle OAB will be sine 30 divided by OB. Sine 120 will be same as sine 60 or root 3 by 2. And sine 30 is nothing but half. So 2 and 2 will get cancelled out and root 3 and root 3 also cancels out. OB will be equal to 10. So OB is 10. Similarly, OA is also equal to 10 in this case. So next, we find out the area of sector OAB. And for this, we'll use the logic that the angle is 120 degrees. So 120 upon 360 into pi r square or pi 10 square. This will be the area of OAB. Sector OAB, 120 and 120 gone. I will basically get 100 pi by 3. Now from this, if I remove the area of triangle OAB, I will get the area of the yellow region, right? So the area of triangle OAB will be half into product of the sides into sine of the angle in between. So this will be 50 into sine 120 is again sine 60 root 3 by 2. This will be 25 root 3. And that's it. I need to subtract the two areas to get my answer. Area of the sector minus area of the triangle. So final answer is going to be the difference of these two. it will be 100 pi by 3 minus 25 root 3. If I take a 25 common between these two, the final answer would be 25 common for pi by 3 minus root 3. And this is very clearly the C option, the answer to my question. So this is the next question from CAT 24, the third slot. Please pause and try it once and you can resume for the solution. So Aman invests rupees 4,000 in a bank at a certain rate of interest compounded annually. So we have annual compounding here. If the ratio of the value of the investment after 3 years to the value of the investment after 5 years is 25 is to 36, then the minimum number of years required for the value of the investment to exceed rupees 20,000 is. Let's call the principal of rupees 4,000 as P for time being and the rate of interest as R for time being. Then the amount after 5 years will be P into 1 plus R by 100 raised to 5. Similarly, the amount after 3 years would be principal into 1 plus R by 100 raised to 3. The next step, we are going to divide these two. On the left hand side, I will have amount after 5 years upon amount after 3 years will be equal to P and P will get cancelled out and 1 plus R upon 100 raised to 5 will get divided by 1 plus R upon 100 raised to 3. Effectively, I will have 1 plus R upon 100 raised to 2. The question gives us the value of A5 upon A3. The amount after 5 years upon the amount after 3 years would be 36 upon 25 as per the question. So now the right hand side 1 plus R by 100, the whole raised to 2 is actually 36 by 25. We'll take square roots on both sides. When I take square roots on both sides, we will get 6 by 5 is equal to 1 plus R by 100. So we can further simplify this and say 6 by 5 minus 1 or 1 by 5 is equal to R by 100, or I will simply get R as 20. The rate of interest in this question is 20%. And now finally, we have the principal 4,000. The rate of interest is 20% per annum compound annually. And the amount should be greater than or equal to 20,000 as per the question. How much is the time period or number of years required N? So the amount will be principal into 1 plus R by 100 raised to N. 1 plus 20 upon 100 raised to N should be greater than or equal to 20,000. Now I'll divide both sides by 4,000 and the 1 plus 20 upon 100 raised to N can be simply written as 1.2 raised to N. So 1.2 raised to N will be greater than or equal to 20,000 divided by 4,000 will be 5. So now one way is you can approach this problem henceforth manually. You can plug in the value of N and find out what value of N gives you 1.2 raised to N greater than or equal to 5. So 1.2 raised to 1 is equal to 1.2 only, which is not greater than or equal to 5. Similarly, 1.2 square will be 1.44, not greater than 5. 1.2 cube is also 1.728, not greater than 5. 1.2 raised to 4, for this we can use the calculator now, 2.073 approx. So again, this is not greater than 5. If I try 1.2 raised to 5, this will be 2.073 multiplied by 1.2, which is 2.488, again not 5. 1.2 raised to 6 will be 2.48 into 1.2, that's 2.98, again not equal to 5, again not greater than 5. You can do 1.2 raised to 7. 1.2 raised to 7 is 2.98 into 1.2, that's 3.58, not greater than 5 though. Into 1.2 will give you 1.2 raised to 8. This is 4.299 or 4.3, which is again not greater than 5. Next step, you find out 1.2 raised to 9, and 1.2 raised to 9 is 5.19. Exactly what you want. The value 1.2 raised to N should be greater than or equal to 5. So 1.2 raised to 9 satisfies the given condition. Comparing N with the power of 1.2 here, N is basically 9. So that was one way of approaching the problem manually, putting in the value of N and trying to figure out what could be the number N that satisfies the given relation. A slightly better or a logical way of looking at this would be, we know that, or we must know that 12 cube is equal to 1728. So 1.2 cube should be 1.728. So if n was 3, it would still be 1.728 but not 5. If I multiply this again with 1.2 raised to 3, it would be 1.728 into 1.728. So roughly 1.7 into 1.7 would be 17 square 289. So still this number would be 2.89 only, approximately 2.89 only, which is not 5. Once again, if I multiply this with 1.2 cube, it will be getting multiplied by 1.728. So if you now check, 2.8 approximately 1.7 times brings us very close to 5. As a confirmation, you can multiply these three now using the calculator. 1.728 into 1.728 into 1.728. Bingo, you get the same value, 5.15, in a much faster way. So yes, we can now be sure that n is actually 3 plus 3 plus 3. It is 1.2 raised to 9. N should be equal to 9. Hi, don't forget to check out my course for the quant section of the CAT exam, where I've explained all concepts, tips and tricks, shortcuts, and past year questions in great detail. Hi everyone, so this is your next question from CAT 24, the third slot. Please pause the video and try it, and you can resume the video for its solution. So the question reads, in a group of 250 students, the percentage of girls was at least 44 and at most 60. The rest of the students were boys. Each student opted for either swimming or running or both. If 50% of the boys and 80% of the girls opted for swimming, while 70% of the boys and 60% of the girls opted for running, then the minimum and maximum possible number of students who opted for both swimming and running are respectively. So we have been given a group of 250 students. The percentage of girls was at least 44 and at most 60, right? So let's focus on this part and find out the least number of girls in the group. So 250 children in total, out of them 44% are girls. So 44% of 250, you can find out this using the logic A percent of B is B percent of A. So 44% of 250 will be same as 25% of 440. As I've said, A percent of B is B percent of A. You can check out the course in the description for more such amazing shortcuts. 25% is 1/4, so we'll find 1/4 of 440. The number of girls is 110. This is the minimum. As per the question, the rest is the number of boys. So 250 minus 110, there are 140 boys in this group. Further, 50% of the boys opt for swimming, while 80% of the girls opt for swimming. So 50% of 140 or half of 140 is 70. 70 boys opt for swimming, and 80% of the girls is 80% of 110. 110's 80% is 88. 88 girls opt for swimming. Similarly, 70% of the boys and 60% of the girls opted for running. So 70% of the boys is 70% of 140. 70 upon 100 times 140 is 98. 98 boys opt for running. And 60% of the girls, 60% of 110 would be 66. 66 girls opt for running. The next step is, we have a total of 140 boys. Okay. And out of these 140 boys, 70 boys do swimming and 98 boys do running. Okay, let's call this as set A and let's call this as set B. And 140 is the total number of boys, which will be A union B, right? Now we know that A union B is always A plus B minus A intersection B. So basically, the total number of boys is the number of boys who prefer swimming plus the number of boys who prefer running minus the number of boys who do both. From here, I can conclude that the number of boys who do both running and swimming will be equal to the number of boys who do swimming plus the number of boys who do running minus the total number of boys. Please remember this rule carefully because this is exactly what we are going to use in the upcoming parts also. So the total number of boys who do both running and swimming would be 70, the ones who do swimming, 98, the ones who do running, minus the total number of boys 140. So this gives me 168 minus 140, 28. So minimum 28 boys do both running and swimming. Now the exact same thing we can do for the girls as well, right? The number of girls who do both swimming and running will be the number of girls who do swimming plus the number of girls who do running minus the total number of girls 110. This would be 154 minus 110, or this becomes 44. So minimum 44 girls do both swimming and running. So total number of students who do both running and swimming would be 44 girls and 28 boys, which is 72. So 72 students opt for both running and swimming. That's the minimum. Now we can use the exact same logic to find out the maximum number of students who do both running and swimming, right? So I have a total of 250 students. Maximum 60% are girls. So 60% of 250 is 25% of 600. That is 150. Once again, A percent of B is B percent of A. So there are 150 girls in this class, or you can directly calculate 60 upon 100 times 250 would also be great. Cancelling out two zeros, 25 6 are 150. The rest are boys as per the question. So 250 minus 150 is 100. 50% of boys do swimming. So 50% of 100 would be 50. 50 boys do swimming. And 80% of girls do swimming. So 80% of 150 will be 120. And 70% of the boys do running. 70% of 100 is 70. And 60% of the girls opted for running. 60% of 150 is basically 90. And 90 girls do running. As you have seen previously, the number of boys who do both swimming and running would be 50 plus 70 minus the total number of boys. 50 plus 70 is 120 minus 100 would be 20. And similarly, the number of girls who do both swimming and running would be 120 plus 90 minus the number of girls in total 150. So 120 plus 90 is 210 minus 150 is 60. 60 girls do both running and swimming. 20 boys do both running and swimming. The total number of students who do them both is 60 plus 20, which is 80. So the maximum number of students doing both running and swimming will be 80. My answer should be 72 and 80. It is the A option. Slightly lengthy, but it's not a very difficult question. You can easily manage this. And that's the answer, option A, 72 and 80. Hi everyone, this is your next question from CAT 24, the third slot. You can pause the video and try it once and resume for its solution. If 10 raised to 68 is divided by 13, the remainder is. Pretty simple question. It's a very straightforward question. We will look at multiple ways of solving the question. The first method is you can divide 10 by 13 and find the remainder. So if I divide 10 by 13, the remainder would be 13 ones are 13, the remainder is minus 3. So 10 power 68 when divided by 13, it is like saying 10 into 10 into 10 into 10 for 68 times will be divided by 13. So each time you get the remainder minus 3. So the remainder will be minus 3 into minus 3 into minus 3 for 68 times, which is nothing but minus 3 raised to 68. Further, you can ignore the minus sign here because the power here is even. Any negative number raised to an even power, minus into minus is going to be positive or plus. So you can ignore the minus sign also. You can treat the further remainder as 3 power 68, and we are going to divide this with 13 and find the remainder. Next, we can break this 3 power 68 as 3 power 66 multiplied by 3 square. And further, 3 power 66 can be written as 3 cube the whole raised to 22 into 3 square is 9. Now 3 cube will be 27, and 27 on dividing by 13 will give me the remainder 1. You can cross check this as 27 divided by 13, 13 2s are 26. The remainder is 1. So this part gives me a remainder of 1, and 9 divided by 13, the remainder would be 9. Final remainder would be 1 into 9, which is 9, and that is your B option. So that was one way of answering the question. We have a slightly better or a quicker way to find the answer. Notice that the number 1001 is 7 into 11 into 13. 1001 is a multiple of 13. That means if I divide the number 1000 with 13, I will get 1000 into 7 into 11, 77. 1001, the remainder would be minus 1. So the number 1000 when divided by 13 will leave me a remainder of minus 1. Using this fact, I can get the answer much more quickly. Let's start by considering 10 power 68 written as 10 power 66 into 10 power 2. Further, 10 power 66 can be broken as 10 power 3 the whole power 22 using our laws of indices into 10 power 2. Now 10 power 3 is nothing but 1000, and 1000 is getting raised to the power 22 into 10 square is basically equal to 100. 1000 gives a remainder of minus 1 when divided by 13. That's what we've seen right now. So the remainder of this entire part with 13 will be minus 1 raised to 22 into 100 divided by 13. 13 sevens are 91. The remainder is 9. Finally, the remainder is minus 1 raised to 22, which is 1 into 9. 1 into 9 will be 9. And this is my B option. Simple question, and that's how we solve it. Hi guys, this is your next question from CAT 24, the third slot. Please pause the video and try it once before you look at the solution. The midpoints of sides AB, BC and AC in triangle ABC are M and NP respectively. The medians drawn from A, B and C intersect the segments MP, MN and NP at X, Y and Z respectively. If the area of triangle ABC is 1440, then the area in square centimeters of triangle XYZ is. Very easy question, very simple question. The concept is for the sides AB, BC and AC, the midpoints being M, P and N. When I join these three midpoints, I get exactly four triangles. Triangle AMP, triangle BMN, triangle CPN and triangle MPN. And all these triangles are of equal areas, and the area of each triangle is 1/4 the area of the big triangle ABC. So from this we can write area of triangle MNP is 1/4 the area of the big triangle ABC. 1/4 the area of triangle ABC. Now something similar we can observe inside triangle MPN, right? Triangle MPN again is broken into four smaller triangles, one of them being MYX, the other one is NYZ, the next one is PXZ, and the last one is XYZ. We can apply the same logic in this triangle now. The triangle MPN has four smaller triangles all having equal areas. So we can write area of triangle XYZ is 1/4 the area of the triangle MNP. As I've already said, you can check out this concept in the course link in the description where I've explained this entire thing in depth. Now combining these two equations, I can observe that area of triangle XYZ is 1/4 the area of triangle MNP, which is further 1/4 of triangle ABC. So area of triangle XYZ is 1/4 of 1/4, meaning 1/16 of the triangle ABC. And that's how we get our answer in the next step. The required area of triangle XYZ is 1/16 times the area of the big triangle ABC. 1/16 of the big triangle is 1/16 of 1440. That will be 90 square centimeters. The answer to our question, 90 square centimeters. Simple question, beautiful question. That's how we solve this very simply. The answer is 90 square centimeters. Hey guys, this is your next question from CAT 24, the third slot. Please pause the video and try it once, and you can resume for the solution. So the question reads, sum of all distinct real values of x that satisfy the equation 10 raised to x plus 4 upon 10 raised to x is 8.5 is. Alright, very pretty question, and this is a very common question type which is being asked in CAT since the past few years now. It appears to be a question based on logs or indices, but it's actually a question based on quadratic equations. So let's start. Let's look at the very first method of solving the question, and that is the method of substitution. So 10 raised to x, we will substitute that as, let's say, a. So now this equation becomes 10 raised to x will be a plus 4 upon 10 raised to x will become 4 upon a is equal to 8 and a half. 8 and a half or 8.5 is 17 by 2. So let's write that is 17 by 2. Now we'll multiply throughout by 2a. That's the LCM of the denominators, by the way. So I will get 2a square plus 4 2s are 8 is equal to 2 cancel 17 into a, or 2a square minus 17a plus 8 is equal to 0. And the next step is we factorize this quadratic equation. 2a square minus 17a plus 8 is equal to 0. So I want two numbers whose sum is minus 17 and product is 8. Naturally, they are minus 16 and minus 1. So I can solve this quadratic as 2a square minus 16a minus a plus 8 is equal to 0. So between these two, I can take a 2a common. 2a into a minus 8 minus. Between these two, I can take a 1 common, a minus 8. This thing should be 0. So a minus 8 into 2a minus 1 is 0 will give me a is equal to 8, or 2a minus 1 is 0 gives me a is equal to half. So now I'll resubstitute the value of a as 10 raised to x. So 10 raised to x will be either 8 or 10 raised to x will be 1 by 2. And now if I transform these into the form of logarithms or logs, I will get x is equal to log of 8 to the base 10, or x will be log of 1 by 2 to the base 10. The question demands sum of all distinct real values of x. So I'm supposed to add these two numbers to get the sum of the two distinct values of x. The sum of two distinct values of x will be log of 8 to the base 10 plus log of 1 by 2 to the base 10. This is like log a plus log b, and their bases are same. It will be equal to log of ab. So log of 8 into half to the base 10 is nothing but log of 4 to the base 10, which we can further simplify as log of 2 square to the base 10. And now the 2 will come outside. This will become twice of log 2 to the base 10. This is very clearly the C option, and that's the answer to our question, option C. Now we'll look at a better way to solve the question. We observe that this is a quadratic equation, 2a square minus 17a plus 8. The product of the roots for this equation will be c by a. So if a1 and a2 are the roots, a1 into a2 will be c by a, or 8 by 2. And 8 by 2 is simply equal to 4. I'm resubstituting the value of a as 10 raised to x. Let us say that a1 is the first root whose value will be 10 raised to x1. And similarly, let us suppose a2 was the second root of the equation, and I'm resubstituting that as 10 raised to x2. So I've got 10 raised to x1 into 10 raised to x2 is 4, or 10 raised to x1 plus x2 is equal to 4. Taking log on both sides or converting everything into logs, I directly have my answer. X1 plus x2 is simply log of 4 to the base 10, which we have already seen is nothing but the C option. So that's a much quicker way out. You don't need to find the roots to basically get your answer here. You can directly use the concept that product of roots is C by A, and you get the product of the roots of the quadratic, and from that you can get 10 raised to x1 and 10 raised to x2. Taking logs on both sides, we get the answer quickly. That's the C option. Hi, don't forget to check out my course for the quant section of the CAT exam, where I've explained all concepts, tips and tricks, shortcuts, and past year questions in great detail. Hey guys, you can try this next question from CAT 24, the third slot. Please pause the video and give it a try. So Sam can complete a job in 20 days when working alone. Mohit is twice as fast as Sam and thrice as fast as Aina in the same job. They undertake a job with an arrangement where Sam and Mohit work together on first day, Sam and Aina work on second day, and Mohit and Aina on the third day. And this 3-day pattern is repeated till the work gets completed. Then the fraction of total work done by Sam is. Now it is given that Mohit is twice as fast as Sam and thrice as fast as Aina. So if I assume the efficiency of Mohit as, let's say, 6 units per day, Mohit is twice as fast as Sam. So Sam will be half as efficient. So Sam will be working at the rate of 3 units per day. And Mohit is thrice as fast as Aina. So if Mohit is doing 6 units per day, Aina will do one third, that is 2 units per day. As per the question, Sam can complete a job in 20 days. So total amount of work done is 3 into 20, that is 60 units of work in total. This 60 units of work is completed in the following arrangement. On day 1, Sam and Mohit are working. So on day 1, the work performed will be 3 plus 6, that is 9 units. Similarly, on day 2, Sam and Aina work. So the work completed will be 3 plus 2, 5 units on day 2. And on day 3, Mohit and Aina work. So the work completed will be 6 plus 2, that is 8 units. Now this pattern is repeated till the work is completed. So on day 1, 9 units are done. On day 2, 5 units. On day 3, 8 units. And this gives a total of 22 units of work till now. Remember, our target is 60. On day 4, again 9 units will be done when Sam and Mohit work together. On day 5, 5 units will be completed when Sam and Aina work together. And on day 6, 8 units of work will be done when Mohit and Aina work together. This is again giving you a total of 22 units. Up till now, the total work done is 22 plus 22 or 44 units. And 6 days have passed. On the 7th day, again 9 units will be completed. And on the 8th day, again 5 units will be completed. 9 and 5 is 14 units of work done. The remaining 2 units will be completed on the last day. That's how the total work of 60 units is completed. Now out of this, the total work being 60, Sam is working on day 1, day 2, day 4, day 5, day 7 and day 8. And Sam completes 3 units of work daily. So since Sam works for 6 days, the work he is doing is 3 into 6. So 18 units of work have been done by Sam out of total 60 units of work. The fraction of work is 3 out of 10. And this is our B option. Hey guys, this is your next question from Cat 24, the third slot. You can pause the video and try it once. So a certain amount of water was poured into a 300-liter container and the remaining portion of the container was filled with milk. Then an amount of this solution was taken out from the container, which was twice the volume of water that was earlier poured into it, and water was poured to refill the container again. If the resultant solution contains 72% milk, then the amount of water in liters that was initially poured into the container was. Let us start by considering the water content in the vessel as X liters. Since the container's capacity is worth 300 liters, the milk content would be the remaining value 300 minus X. Then an amount of this solution was taken out which was twice the volume of water that was earlier poured. So volume of water poured is X, twice of that is simply 2X. So now 2X liters is removed. Now we have studied this in the concept of dilution or wine left formula. Whatever is the fraction of solution removed, the components of the solutions are removed in that same fraction. So here, the solution removed is 2x out of total 300 liters. So both water and milk will be removed in the same proportion or in the same fraction. So we can observe that 2x upon 300th portion of both water and milk would be removed. So what remains? What fraction of water and milk will remain? 1 minus 2x upon 300th, right? So after we remove 2x upon 300th the fraction of the mixture, 1 minus 2x upon 300th the fraction remains. So the fraction of water and milk remaining is 1 minus 2x upon 300th. Now what was the initial fraction of milk in this? It was 300 minus x out of 300. And now 1 minus 2x upon 300 fraction remains. So what is the fraction of milk now in the mixture? 300 minus x upon 300 into 1 minus 2x upon 300. And this has been given to us as 72%, or 72% can be written as 72 upon 100. So this 1 minus 2x upon 300 can be written as 300 minus 2x upon 300. This part will be as it is, 300 minus x upon 300. The product of these two is actually 72 upon 100. Now I can cancel out two zeros from both sides, and 3 into 300 can be multiplied on the right hand side to get the equation 300 minus x into 300 minus 2x is equal to 72 into 3 into 300. Now we'll simplify this equation. 300 into 300 is 3 3s are 9 followed by 4 zeros minus 300 into 2x 600x. Now 300 into minus x is minus 300x, and minus x into minus 2x is plus 2x square is equal to 72 into 3 into 300 is 900. Now similarly, I can write this 90,000 as 100 into 900, right? So that if I bring this term 72 into 900 on the left hand side, it will be 100 into 900 minus 72 into 900 minus 600, and 300 is 900x plus 2x square is equal to 0. Now 100 into 900 minus 72 into 900 is actually 28 into 900, right? Minus 900x plus 2x square is equal to 0. The next step is I divide throughout by 2 and rearrange the terms. The equation becomes x square minus 450x plus 14 into 900 should be equal to 0. So now it's a quadratic equation. We want to factorize this by finding out two numbers whose sum would be 450 and product would be 14 into 900. Now 14 into 900, 14 and 900 don't add up to give 450. So I have to look for two other numbers whose sum is 450, right? So I could try by writing this as 28 into 450. No, the sum is still more than 450. Or we could write 42 into 300. This is 342, not 450. Or we could write 56 into 225. This is way less than, the sum is less than 450 again. If I take a 5, it will be 70 into 180. Sum is 250. If 10, it would be 140 and 90. No, sum is not 450. If I take 20, it will be 280 into 45. No. If I take 30, it will be 420 into 30. Absolutely. Sum is 450. So two numbers whose sum is 450 and product is 420 into 30 are 420 and 30, right? So now I'll write the equation as x square minus 420x minus 30x plus 420 into 30 is equal to 0. So x minus 420 into x minus 30 is 0. So I will get x as either 420 or x as 30. But I can ignore x as 420 because x was the amount of water in the mixture. It cannot exceed the size of the container, that is 300, right? So since x has to be less than 300, it can't be 420. The only possible answer is x is equal to 30. Might look to be a slightly complicated one because of the algebra involved, but I'm already on the lookout of a slightly better method. If you come across something, please let me know into the comments. Hello everybody, this is your next question from CAT 24, the third slot. Please pause the video and try solving it. Gopi marks a price on a product in order to make 20% profit. Ravi gets 10% discount on this mark price and thus saves 15 rupees. Then the profit in rupees made by Gopi by selling the product to Ravi is. We'll look at a very simple way of solving the question. Let us suppose that for Gopi, the cost price was equal to 100x. He wants to make a profit of 20%. So the marked price for Gopi will be equal to 20% higher or 120x. But Ravi gets a 10% discount on this mark price. So mark price will reduce by 10%. That is, it will reduce by 12x And the selling price for Gopi should be 120 minus 12x, that is 108x. Ravi is saving 15 rupees. That means Ravi had to pay 120x minus 108x lesser. 120 minus 108 is 12x. 12x lesser. This has been given as rupees 15 in the question. So from here we get x is equal to 15 upon 12, 5 by 4. The question is the profit made by Gopi. Gopi's cost price would be 100x and selling price is 108x. So we can say that the profit made is 8x. If x is 5 by 4, the profit 8x will be 8 into 5 by 4 or 10 rupees. The B option. Very simple question. Hi everyone, this is your next question from CAT24, the third slot. Please pause the video and try it first before you look at the solution. So the question says a train traveled a certain distance at a uniform speed. Had the speed been 6 kilometers per hour more, it would have needed 4 hours less. Had the speed been 6 kilometers per hour less, it would have needed 6 hours more. The distance in kilometers traveled by the train is. So we can tabulate everything like this. Let the speed be given in kilometers per hour, the time be in hours, and the distance be in kilometers. And the usual speed I'm assuming as s, the usual time as t. The usual distance is the usual speed into usual time, s into t. Now, as per the question, when the speed is 6 more, the time is 4 less. So when the speed is more by 6 kilometers per hour, the new speed should be s plus 6. And when the time is less by 4 hours, it should be t minus 4. In this case, the distance will be the speed into time. So s plus 6 into t minus 4. Similarly, had the speed been 6 kilometers per hour less, the speed would have been s minus 6. It would have needed 6 hours more. The time would have been t plus 6. So now the distance would be speed into time, s minus 6 into t plus 6. Now, in all the three cases, the distance remains the same. So let's equate the distance in the first and the second cases. S minus 6 into t plus 6 will be equal to s into t or st. If you open the left hand side's bracket, you get an expression st minus 6t plus s into 6 is 6s and minus 6 into plus 6 is minus 36 is equal to st. Cancelling out st from both sides, I could just take 36 on the right hand side and I would write 6s minus 6t is equal to 36. This is my first equation. Similarly, let's equate the distance in the second and the third case. I will get st is equal to s plus 6 into t minus 4. So the left hand side being st, the right hand side will be s into t plus 6 into t minus 4s and 6 into minus 4 is minus 24. Again, s and t will get cancelled out. I could take minus 24 on the left hand side. It would make it 24. So 24 will be 60 minus 4s or 60 minus 4 is 24. Let me write this as my second equation. And now I will simply add the first and the second equations. The 60 value will get cancelled out. 6s minus 4s will become 2s. And that will be equal to 36 plus 24. That's 60. If 2s is 60, s would be equal to 30. And now this value of s, I will substitute in either 1 or 2, any of these two. Let's put it in 1 for time being. So 6 into 30 minus 6 into t would be 36. So 6 into 30 is 180. Bring the 36 to the left hand side and 60 on the right hand side. I will have 180 minus 36 is 60. Divide third by 6. I will again get 30 minus 6 is equal to t, or t is 30 minus 6, that is 24. And now the last step to the answer, we just need to multiply the speed and the time to get the distance. Multiplying the original speed 30 with the original time 24, the original distance is 30 into 24, 720 kilometers. It is the B option. So that's one way of answering the question. You'll be surprised to know there are two more ways to answering this question, including one shortcut. All right, so let's look at the second method to answer this particular question. You'll notice that the speeds s minus 6, s and s plus 6 form an arithmetic progression. AP, the common difference being 6. So now the distance traveled in all the three cases is same. Whenever the distance is same, guys, we know that speed and time are inversely proportional. Speeds being in AP, the inverse or the reciprocal will be an HP, harmonic progression. So we can observe that the times will be in HP. Okay. So the time t is going to be the harmonic mean of t plus 6 and t minus 4. The harmonic mean of t plus 6 and t minus 4 would be twice of t plus 6 into t minus 4 divided by t plus 6 plus t minus 4. That's the harmonic mean of t plus 6 and t minus 4. As per the concept, this should be equal to t. From here, you can directly calculate the value of t without making two equations. Now, if you simplify, the numerator here is t into t square plus 6 into t minus 4 into t is minus 4t and 6 into minus 4 is minus 24 is equal to the denominator. I will simplify and take it to the right hand side. T plus t would be 2t and 6 minus 4 is plus 2. So 2t plus 2 gets multiplied by t. So this basically gives me 2t square plus 6t minus 4t is 2t. 2 into t is 4t and 2 into minus 24 is minus 48 is equal to again 2t square plus 2t. 2t square gets cancelled and so we are very luckily saved of a quadratic. 4t minus 2t will be 2t only and minus 48 on the right hand side I'll get 48. If 2t is 48, I will get t is equal to 24. 24 hours in this context. The usual time for the train to travel is 24 hours. And now, since the distance is same, the usual distance is s into t will be same as any of these two distances. You can equate this with and calculate the speeds. So I'll take the second case. The distance is s plus 6 into t minus 4. We'll just plug in the value of t as 24 in this equation and we'll find the speed or s. So 24 into s will be s plus 6 into 24 minus 4 is 20. So I will get 24s is 20s plus 20 into 6 is 120. So I'll get 4s is 120 or s is simply equal to 30. Right? That's the other way of finding out the speed and time. Now, usual speed is 30 and the usual time is 24. Then the distance covered is speed into time again. So 30 into 24, my answer once again is 720 kilometers. It is the B option. And now coming to the last and the best way of answering the question is to basically use the options. Your answer should be of the form s into t, the product of two numbers s into t, such that when s is increased by 6 as per the question, s plus 6, t will reduce by 4. It will become t minus 4. Similarly, when s is reduced by 6, s minus 6, t would increase by 6 or it will become t plus 6. So I want an option that satisfies this condition. Two of its factors, s into t, the product should be that particular distance. Speed increased by 6, time decreases by 4, and speed decreases by 6, time increases by 6. And very clearly, this is your B option 720. If you notice, 720 can be broken down into 30 into 24. When you increase 30 by 6, it will become 36. Your speed in the second case, the time needs to become 20 in order to make the product 720, right? So you realize that the time has reduced by 4. Similarly, if I reduce the speed by 6, 30 minus 6, basically the second case, the speed will become 24 into the product should still remain 720. So time should become 30. And you notice that the time has increased by 6 as per the question. So yes, my answer is 720 kilometers, the B option. Hi, don't forget to check out my course for the quant section of the CAT exam, where I've explained all concepts, tips and tricks, shortcuts, and past year questions in great detail. Hi everyone, this is your next question from CAT 24, the third slot. Please pause the video and try it first before you look at the solution. So the question says a train traveled a certain distance at a uniform speed. Had the speed been 6 kilometers per hour more, it would have needed 4 hours less. Had the speed been 6 kilometers per hour less, it would have needed 6 hours more. The distance in kilometers traveled by the train is. So we can tabulate everything like this. Let the speed be given in kilometers per hour, the time be in hours, and the distance be in kilometers. And the usual speed I'm assuming as s, the usual time as t. The usual distance is the usual speed into usual time, s into t. Now, as per the question, when the speed is 6 more, the time is 4 less. So when the speed is more by 6 kilometers per hour, the new speed should be s plus 6. And when the time is less by 4 hours, it should be t minus 4. In this case, the distance will be the speed into time. So s plus 6 into t minus 4. Similarly, had the speed been 6 kilometers per hour less, the speed would have been s minus 6. It would have needed 6 hours more. The time would have been t plus 6. So now the distance would be speed into time, s minus 6 into t plus 6. Now, in all the three cases, the distance remains the same. So let's equate the distance in the first and the second cases. S minus 6 into t plus 6 will be equal to s into t or st. If you open the left-hand side's bracket, you get an expression st minus 6t plus s into 6 is 6s and minus 6 into plus 6 is minus 36 is equal to st. Cancelling out st from both sides, I could just take 36 on the right-hand side and I would write 6s minus 6t is equal to 36. This is my first equation. Similarly, let's equate the distance in the second and the third case. I will get st is equal to s plus 6 into t minus 4. So the left-hand side being st, the right-hand side will be s into t plus 6 into t minus 4s and 6 into minus 4 is minus 24. Again, s and t will get cancelled out. I could take minus 24 on the left-hand side. It would make it 24. So 24 will be 60 minus 4s or 60 minus 4 is 24. Let me write this as my second equation. And now I will simply add the first and the second equations. The 60 value will get cancelled out. 6s minus 4s will become 2s. And that will be equal to 36 plus 24. That's 60. If 2s is 60, s would be equal to 30. And now this value of s, I will substitute in either 1 or 2, any of these two. Let's put it in 1 for time being. So 6 into 30 minus 6 into t would be 36. So 6 into 30 is 180. Bring the 36 to the left-hand side and 60 on the right-hand side. I will have 180 minus 36 is 60. Divide third by 6. I will again get 30 minus 6 is equal to t, or t is 30 minus 6, that is 24. And now the last step to the answer, we just need to multiply the speed and the time to get the distance. Multiplying the original speed 30 with the original time 24, the original distance is 30 into 24, 720 kilometers. It is the B option. So that's one way of answering the question. You'll be surprised to know there are two more ways to answering this question, including one shortcut. If you're interested, you can check out the link in the description for my course, where I've explained this concept and all other concepts in great detail with shortcuts. Hey everyone, this is your next question from Cat24, the third slot. Please pause the video and try this question before you look at the solution. So the first method of answering the question is we actually plot the graph of this equation. Let's consider the first quadrant. In the first quadrant, x is greater than 0 and y is also greater than 0. We'll plot the graph in the first quadrant, and then by symmetry, you can observe that the same thing will be drawn in the other quadrants as well. So in the first quadrant, since x and y are both positive, x plus y is also going to be positive. So mod of x plus y will be x plus y only, plus mod of x minus y. Now mod of x minus y will depend on whether x is more than y or x is less than y. So I will now take two cases. The first case is when x is greater than y, and the second case is when x is less than y. When x is greater than y, mod of x minus y will be x minus y only, because x minus y will be positive. So this equation will become x plus y plus x minus y is equal to 2. But if x is less than y, x minus y would be a negative value, and mod of a negative number is minus of that number, right? So x plus y plus minus of x minus y will be y minus x. This will be equal to 2. Further, we can simplify this as 2x equal to 2 and x is equal to 1. And the second equation, we can cancel out x and say 2y will be 2 or y will be equal to 1. For reference, I'll draw the line x is equal to y. X is equal to y would be something like this. 0, 0 is 1 point. 1, comma 1 would be 1 point. So something like this. Okay. So when x is greater than y, we have to refer to this line x is equal to 1. And when x is less than y, we have to refer this line y is equal to 1. And the same diagram I can replicate in the other quadrants also. So this is what I will have in the second quadrant. Something similar I will have in the third quadrant also. And something similar I will have in the fourth quadrant also. Something like this. Now the number of distinct integer solutions have to be found. So 1, comma 1 is 1 point. Then we have 0, comma 1. Then we have minus 1, comma 1. Then we have minus 1, comma 0, 0, comma 0, and 1, comma 0, minus 1, comma minus 1, 0, comma minus 1, and 1, comma minus 1. I can see 9 points here. Out of this, I ignore the origin because the origin does not lie on this graph actually. So I have 3, 3, 6, and 2, 8. Exactly 8 points. And that's why the number of solutions would be 8. So that was our first method where we actually plot the graph. There is an even better way out in which we simply can observe the values of x and y which are possible. Since the sum required is 2 less, it is simply 2. So we can observe the values of x and y in this case. Let's suppose I put x as 1 and y is 0. If I put x as 1 and y is 0, mod of 1 plus 0 will be 1, plus mod of 1 minus 0 is also 1. So I am ultimately going to get a 2 as a sum. The same thing I'll get if I put x as minus 1 and y as 0. So x as minus 1 and y is 0 is the other solution. Will also give me the sum as 2 only. Or I can do 0, 1 for x and y. Or I can do 0, minus 1 also. Similarly, I can take x as 1 and y as minus 1. In that case, mod of x plus y becomes mod of 0, 0 only. And mod of x minus y will be mod of 1 minus minus 1, which is 2. So yes, the sum is still becoming 2. Or I could take minus 1 and 1. Another possible solution will give me the sum as 2 again. Now I could take x and y as both 1 and both minus 1 also. Still this equation will be equal to 2 only. So by observation also I can say there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 possible solutions to the given equation. And that's the answer to my question. Hey everyone, this is your next question from Cat 24, the third slot. Please pause the video and try this question before you look at the solution. So the first method of answering the question is we actually plot the graph of this equation. Let's consider the first quadrant. In the first quadrant, x is greater than 0 and y is also greater than 0. We'll plot the graph in the first quadrant, and then by symmetry, you can observe that the same thing will be drawn in the other quadrants as well. So in the first quadrant, since x and y are both positive, x plus y is also going to be positive. So mod of x plus y will be x plus y only, plus mod of x minus y. Now mod of x minus y will depend on whether x is more than y or x is less than y. So I will now take two cases. The first case is when x is greater than y, and the second case is when x is less than y. When x is greater than y, mod of x minus y will be x minus y only, because x minus y will be positive. So this equation will become x plus y plus x minus y is equal to 2. But if x is less than y, x minus y would be a negative value, and mod of a negative number is minus of that number, right? So x plus y plus minus of x minus y will be y minus x. This will be equal to 2. Further, we can simplify this as 2x equal to 2 and x is equal to 1. And the second equation, we can cancel out x and say 2y will be 2 or y will be equal to 1. For reference, I'll draw the line x is equal to y. X is equal to y would be something like this. 0, 0 is 1 point. 1, comma 1 would be 1 point. So something like this. Okay. So when x is greater than y, we have to refer to this line x is equal to 1. And when x is less than y, we have to refer this line y is equal to 1. And the same diagram I can replicate in the other quadrants also. So this is what I will have in the second quadrant. Something similar I will have in the third quadrant also. And something similar I will have in the fourth quadrant also, something like this. Now the number of distinct integer solutions have to be found. So 1 comma 1 is 1 point. Then we have 0 comma 1. Then we have minus 1 comma 1. Then we have minus 1 comma 0, 0 comma 0, and 1 comma 0, minus 1 comma minus 1, 0 comma minus 1, and 1 comma minus 1. I can see 9 points here. Out of this, I ignore the origin because the origin does not lie on this graph actually. So I have 3, 3, 6, and 2, 8, exactly 8 points. And that's why the number of solutions would be 8. So that was our first method where we actually plot the graph. There is an even better way out. If you're interested, you can check out the link in the description for my course, where I've explained this concept and all other concepts in great detail with shortcuts. Hi everyone, this is your next question from Cat24, the third slot. Please pause the video and try it once before you look at the solution. So if you ask me, this is a purely equations game. Let's solve this question. The average of three distinct real numbers is 28. If the smallest number is increased by 7 and the largest number is reduced by 10, the order of the numbers remains unchanged and the new arithmetic mean becomes 2 more than the middle number, while the difference between the largest and smallest numbers becomes 64. Then the largest number in the original set of three numbers is. Easy question and interesting also. The average of three distinct real numbers is 28. When they say real numbers, it could mean a diverse range of numbers, maybe positive or negative, or maybe zero, or maybe rational. I'm not sure. Let the three distinct real numbers be A, B, and C in that order. A is less than B, which is less than C. So C is the largest, B is in the middle, and A is the smallest. Okay. As per the data, the average of these three numbers is 28. So A plus B plus C divided by 3 must be 28. If I multiply by 3 on both sides, I'm going to get A plus B plus C is equal to 84. Right? Next, if the smallest number is increased by 7, so the smallest number is now becoming A plus 7, and the largest number reduced by 10, so C becomes C minus 10, the order of the number remains unchanged. So B is as it is. The order of the numbers is still the same. So A plus 7 is smallest, B is in the middle, and C minus 10 is the largest. Then the new arithmetic mean becomes 2 more than the middle number. In this case, the three numbers are A plus 7, B, and C minus 10. The average of these three, or the arithmetic mean of these three, will be A plus 7 is the first number, plus B the second number, plus C minus 10 the third number, divided by 3. This average is equal to 2 more than the middle number, becomes 2 more than the middle number. So this average is B plus 2. If I simplify this further, I'm going to get 7 and minus 10, minus 3. So A plus B plus C minus 3 is equal to, multiply both sides by 3, you will get 3B plus 6. Now we have already found out the value of A plus B plus C above, and that is 84. So plug it in here. 84 minus 3 is 81. 81 will be equal to 3B plus 6. Solving this, I'll get 3B is 75, or lastly it gives me B is equal to 25. Okay, all this to find out B as 25. And we have the last condition here. The last condition given in the question is the difference between the largest and smallest number becomes 64. So C minus 10 and A plus 7, the difference of these two numbers is worth 64. So I will get C minus 10 minus A minus 7 is 64. So minus 10 minus 7 is minus 17. C minus A minus 17 is 64, or I will get C minus A as 81. Also, B equals 25. I can plug it in this equation. A plus B plus C is 4. If I plug in B is 25 in this equation, I will get A plus 25 plus C is 84. Or thereby, I will get A plus C is equal to 59. Now, I wanted to focus on two equations. C minus A is 81 and C plus A is 59. Since the question demands the largest number in the original set, I need to figure out the value of C in this question. So I simply add these equations 1 and 2. Simply adding these two equations, C minus A plus C, A and A will get cancelled out. C plus C would be 2C, will be equal to 81 plus 59, 140. If 2C is 140, dividing by 2 on both sides, I will get C, or the largest number, as 70, the answer to my question. Right, pretty simple. Just as I've said starting mein, it's purely an equations game, and that's how we do it. The answer is 70. Hi guys, this is your next question from Cat24, the third slot. You can pause the video and try it once before you look at the solution. Hi, don't forget to check out my course for the quant section of the CAT exam, where I've explained all concepts, tips and tricks, shortcuts, and past year questions in great detail. So the number of all positive integers up to 500 with non-repeating digits is. So up to 500 means I could have single digit numbers, I could have 2-digit numbers, or I could also have 3-digit numbers. For single digits, I can use digits from 1 to 9. So I will have 9 such positive integers possible. If I want to create 2-digit numbers, the tens place cannot be 0. So I will have 9 choices, that is 1 to 9 in the tens place. And now the same digit cannot repeat in the units place. So when I had 0 to 9, 10 options, one option is removed. The units place will have only 9 options. The total 2-digit numbers I can form is 9 into 9, which will be 81. Now something similar I can apply for 3-digit numbers also. You want positive numbers up to 500. Okay, and the only possible number with the hundreds place as 5 is 500. So ignore the hundreds place as 5. I have only 4 options for the hundreds place, that is 1, 2, 3 and 4. 4 choices. If I place any one digit here, I cannot place that same digit in the tens place. So originally the tens place had 0 to 9, 10 digits possible. But now I will have to remove that one digit. I will have only 9 choices in the tens place. And now out of 10, I have utilized exactly 2 digits. So I'm left with 8 digits for the units place. The total numbers possible are 4 into 9 into 8. That's 72 into 4, 288. So 288 3-digit numbers, 81 2-digit numbers and 9 1-digit numbers. The total number of integers possible will be 9 plus 81 plus 288. 9 plus 81 is 90. 288 and 90 will be 378. This is the answer to our question 378. Very simple. Hey everyone, this is your next question from Cat24, the third slot. Please pause the video and try it once. So the question says a plus b root 3 the whole square is 52 plus 30 root 3, where a and b are natural numbers. Then a plus b equals. Alright, interesting question. A plus b root 3 the whole square is 52 plus 30 root 3. The left hand side is of the form x plus y the whole square, which is nothing but x square plus 2xy plus y square, right? So 52 plus 30 root 3 is actually of the form x square plus y square plus 2xy. Now in this, if you observe, x square plus y square are basically squares. So even if x and y had square root signs, the x square and y square values will be square of them. So they will not contain any square root symbol, right? So if 52 plus 30 root 3 contains a square root symbol, it is definitely our 2xy term, right? This concept we have already discussed in our course. You can check out the link in the description for the same. So I will split 30 root 3 such that it gives me 2xy. 30 root 3 will be 2 into 15 into root 3. This is one way out. So 2xy could be 2 into 15 into root 3. Now if x is 15 and y is root 3, x square plus y square will be 15 square plus root 3 square. This sum is definitely more than 52. So this distribution of 2xy won't work out. We have to look for something else now. We can try by splitting 15 as 2 into 3 into 5. So this could be 2 into 3 into 5 root 3. So x could be 3 and y could be 5 root 3. X square would be 3 square and y square would be 5 root 3 square. 5 root 3 square alone is 75 and 9 is 84. But we need this sum to be 52. So this distribution also is not correct. The last way of writing 2xy would be 2 into 3 root 3 into 5, right? We take the root 3 along with 3 here. So 2 into 3 root 3 into 5. 3 root 3 ka square is nothing but 27 plus 5 square is 25. 27 plus 25 is indeed 52. Bingo. So basically our right hand side is of the form 5 square plus 2 into 5 into 3 root 3 plus 3 root 3 square. This is a square plus 2ab plus b square, and this is clearly the expansion of a plus b the whole square, right? So my right hand side is 5 plus 3 root 3 square, and the left hand side is a plus b root 3 square. If I apply square roots on both sides, I get two conditions. I would have a plus b root 3 directly as 5 plus 3 root 3, or it could be a plus b root 3 being equal to minus of 5 plus 3 root 3. But we can ignore this possibility because in that case, a and b would not come out to be natural numbers. Natural numbers have to be positive. So I have to only focus on this particular condition. A plus b root 3 is 5 plus 3 root 3. By comparison, b root 3 must be 3 root 3. So b is equal to 3, and similarly a should be equal to 5. I'm comparing the rational and the irrational parts. So again I'll get a is equal to 5. If a is 5 and b is 3, a plus b will be 5 plus 3, which is 8. The answer to our question, option C, that is 8. So it's a very simple question. If you can just do this part visually, you will save a lot of time. You just have to break 52 plus 30 root 3 as 5 square plus 2 into 5 into 3 root 3 plus 3 root 3 square. Okay, that is basically 5 plus 3 root 3 square. And that's how you get a plus b root 3 as 5 plus 3 root 3. Comparing, we get a as 5 and b as 3. A plus b is 5 plus 3, which is 8. The answer to your question. Hi everyone, this is your next question from Cat 24, the third slot. Please pause the video and try it once before looking at the solution. So, consider the sequence t1 is 1, t2 is minus 1, and tn is n minus 3 upon n minus 1 times tn minus 2 for all n greater than or equal to 3. Then the value of the sum of 1 upon t2 plus 1 upon t4 plus 1 upon t6 up to 1 upon t 2022 plus 1 upon t 2024 is. Alright, interesting question, not very simple, slightly tricky. So let's solve this one. The question says Tn, look at this particular part, Tn is equal to n minus 3 upon n minus 1 into Tn minus 2. So from here, I can figure out the value of T4, right? T4 will be 4 minus 3 upon 4 minus 1 into T4 minus 1 will be T2. This gives me T4 is equal to 4 minus 3 is basically 1 upon 4 minus 1 is basically 3 into T2. So T4 is 1 upon 3 times T2, or from here I will get T4 is equal to 1 by 3 times. T2 has been given as minus 1. So T4 is minus 1 upon 3. Similarly, I could calculate T6. T6 will be simply equal to 6 minus 3 upon 6 minus 1 times T6 minus 2, that's T4. This is 6 minus 3, 3 upon 6 minus 1, 5 into T4 is minus 1 upon 3. 3 and 3 gone. This becomes minus 1 upon 5. So T6 is minus 1 upon 5. Similarly, you could find T8 as well. T8 would be 8 minus 3 upon 8 minus 1 times T6. This would be 5 by 7 into minus 1 upon 5, which is minus 1 upon 7 only. And now we can see a pattern in here. T2 is minus 1, T4 is minus 1 by 3, T6 is minus 1 by 5, T8 is minus 1 by 7. You notice that the number in the denominators everywhere is simply 1 less than the value of the term. T4 has 4 minus 1, 3 in the denominator. T6 has 6 minus 1, 5 in the denominator. T8 has 8 minus 1, 7 in the denominator. So here Tn, where n should be even, will simply be equal to minus of 1 upon n minus 1. And in the question, the last term is 1 upon t 2024. So we can figure out t 2024, the last term, as minus 1 upon 2023. Now the question becomes very easy. If you notice, the first term is 1 upon t2. 1 upon t2 is the reciprocal of minus 1, which is minus 1 only, plus. The next term is 1 upon t4. 1 upon t4 is the reciprocal of t4. t4 is minus 1 upon 3. The reciprocal is minus 3 only, plus. The next term is 1 upon t6. t6 is minus 1 upon 5. The reciprocal is minus 5, plus. t8, the next term would be minus 1 upon 7. Its reciprocal is minus 7. And this would go on up till the last term is 1 upon t 2024. That will be minus 2023. So what they're asking you in the question is minus sign outside 1 plus 3 plus 5 plus 7 up to 2023. You notice that this is sum of the first n odd numbers. And for some of the first n odd numbers, we have a shortcut. It's simply equal to n square. 2023 is the nth odd number. Let's find out the value of n. So the nth odd number is 2n minus 1. In this case, this is 2023. So 2n minus 1 is 2023. 2n is 2024, or n is equal to 1012. So they have added the first 1012 odd numbers. Their sum is simply 1012 square and a minus sign outside. Now 12 square ends with a 44, 144. So using the concept of last two digits, the last two digits of the square will also end with 44 and a minus sign. So my answer has to be the C option. Minus 1024144. That's the answer to the question, option C. Hi guys, this is your next question from Cat24, the third slot. Please pause the video and give it a try, and you can resume for its solution. So the question says, for any non-zero real number x, let f of x plus twice f of 1 by x is equal to 3x. Then the sum of all possible values of x for which f of x is equal to 3 is. So it's a very easy question. Let's see how we deal with this. It says f of x plus twice f of 1 by x is equal to 3x. The next step is to replace x by 1 by x in the given equation. So first term will become f of 1 upon x plus the second term would be twice f of reciprocal of 1 by x will be x only, is equal to 3 into x will become 3 into 1 by x, or 3 by x. And now this equation we simply multiply by 2 throughout. It will become twice f of 1 by x plus 2 into 2, 4 f of x is equal to twice of 3 by x will become 6 by x. Now we'll call the original equation as 1 and this new equation as 2. The next step is to do 2 minus 1. Subtract the first equation from the second one. So next step, twice f of 1 by x would get cancelled out. 4fx minus f of x will be 3fx is equal to 6 by x minus 3x. Now the next step, the question says f of x should be equal to 3. So in place of f of x, I will simply substitute the value 3. So our left hand side is 3 into 3, 9, which is equal to 6 upon x minus 3x. We are just one step away in getting our answer. Multiply throughout by x. This equation will become 9x is equal to 6 minus 3x square. Or if you rearrange this equation, it will become a quadratic. 3x square plus 9x minus 6 is equal to 0. Now for this quadratic equation, we notice that the sum of the roots is always equal to minus b by a minus the coefficient of x, which is 9 in this case, upon the coefficient of x square, which is 3 in this case. This will be equal to minus 3. So sum of the possible values of x that satisfy this equation is nothing but minus 3, right? And that's exactly what you want to find in the question. Sum of all possible values of x In this case, it is the sum of all the roots of this quadratic equation, that is minus 3, and thereby the correct answer to our question is option B, minus 3. Simple question, and that's how we solve it. The answer is option B, minus 3. Please remember this technique whenever you see a similar question, fx and f of 1 by x. There is a very good chance that you are going to follow the same procedure. Hi, don't forget to check out my course for the quant section of the CAT exam, where I've explained all concepts, tips and tricks, shortcuts, and past year questions in great detail. Hey everyone, this is your next question from CAT 24, the third slot. Please pause the video and give it a try, and you can resume for its solution. So let's see how we solve this question. Rajesh and Vimal own 20 hectares and 30 hectares of agricultural land respectively, which are entirely covered by wheat and mustard crops. The cultivation area of wheat and mustard in the land owned by Vimal are in the ratio of 5:3. If total cultivation area of wheat and mustard are in the ratio 11:9, then the ratio of cultivation area of wheat and mustard in the land owned by Rajesh is. So we look at the conventional method first. That's how 90% people would approach it. And if you're interested to find out the best instant shortcut for this question, you can check out the course link in the description. So let's start. Rajesh and Vimal own 20 hectares and 30 hectares of agricultural land. The cultivation area of wheat and mustard for Vimal is 5:3. Now Vimal owned 30 hectares of land. So for Vimal, I can say wheat and mustard will be 5/8 of the total and 3/8 of the total respectively. Because this ratio is 5:3, we have seen this in ratios chapter that if the ratio is 5:3, the first quantity is 5/8 of the total and second quantity is 3/8 of the total. Since Vimal's total land ownership is 30 hectares, so wheat cultivation is 5 by 8 of 30 and the mustard cultivation is 3 by 8 of 30. And now let's observe the total. The total land available is 30 hectares by Vimal and 20 hectares by Rajesh. This sum becomes 50 hectares, right? Now, out of this 50, the ratio of wheat and mustard is 11:9. So 11 by 20th of the total is wheat and 9 by 20th of the total is basically mustard. Let's calculate these values that we have written so far. For Vimal, the wheat cultivation is 5 into 30 upon 8, or this is 18.75. Subtract this from 30, you will basically get 11.25. You can also calculate 3/8 of 30. Now let's talk about the total wheat cultivation. 11 by 20th of 50. 2 and 2 cancel, that's 55 upon 2, 27.5. And subtract that from 50, you get the mustard cultivation, or you can find out 9 by 20th of 50 also, 22.5 hectares. Now, the total cultivation of wheat is 27.5. Out of this, the cultivation by Vimal is 18.75. So what's the cultivation by Rajesh? 27.5 minus 18.75. And that becomes 8.75. And the remaining cultivation will be from mustard. So the total mustard cultivation is 22.5. Out of that, Vimal has 11.25. So you subtract the two, or you can subtract 8.75 also from 20. You'll get the same value, 11.25. 11.25 is the cultivation of mustard by Rajesh. So the question demands the ratio of 8.75 is to 11.25. This ratio is basically 875 upon 1125. I think we can cancel out 25 above and below. 875, if I divide by 25, I'm going to get a 35. And 1125 upon 25, divided by 25 will be 45. Again, cancelling out 5, this basically gives me 7 by 9, or the ratio of wheat and mustard cultivation in the land owned by Rajesh is 7:9, the B option. Right, so that was the first method of answering the question. The second method is a much quicker way out. We just tabulate things and we basically work with ratios. Notice that Rajesh owns 20 hectares of land and Vimal owns 30 hectares. And the ratio of wheat and mustard cultivation in the land owned by Vimal is 5:3. Now the problem is 5 plus 3 is basically 8. So as you've seen in the last method, when I find out 5 by 8 of 30, this gives me a like decimal, right? Same way, if I find 3 by 8 of 30, it ends up with a decimal, right? So if I have to avoid decimals, I have to ensure that this total 30 was a multiple of 8 actually. So 30 being a multiple of 2, I need a multiple of 8 basically. So I multiplied this with 4. So total land cultivation by Vimal would become 120. Similarly, I will multiply the land owned by Rajesh also by 4. It will become 80. And now the total land will be 80 plus 120, 200. So now we can very easily find 5 by 8 of 120. This would be 15 5s are 75. And 3 by 8 of 120 would be 15 3s are 45. So wheat and mustard owned by Vimal are 75 and 45 respectively. Same way, the total land is 200 units now, and that is in the ratio 11:9. So breaking 200 in the ratio 11:9, the total wheat cultivation is 110 and total mustard cultivation is 90. That's the advantage of making the total 200, right? Now, the total wheat cultivation is 110 and Wimble produces 75. So the remaining value is the cultivation by Rajesh. 1110 minus 75 is 35. Same way, 90 units of total mustard cultivation, out of which Vimal cultivates 45. 90 minus 45, the difference is 45. And finally, we want the ratio of the wheat and mustard cultivation by Rajesh. This will be 35 is to 45, which is our answer 7 is to 9, which is our B option now. Okay, so that's a much quicker way out. We just need to manipulate the totals to multiply them by 4, and everything now falls in place as integers, and we get our answer 7 is to 9 very, very quickly. Hey everyone, this is your next question from Cat24, the third slot. Please pause the video and give it a try, and you can resume for its solution. So let's see how we solve this question. Rajesh and Vimal own 20 hectares and 30 hectares of agricultural land respectively, which are entirely covered by wheat and mustard crops. The cultivation area of wheat and mustard in the land owned by Vimal are in the ratio of 5 is to 3. If total cultivation area of wheat and mustard are in the ratio 11 is to 9, then the ratio of cultivation area of wheat and mustard in the land owned by Rajesh is. So we look at the conventional method first. That's how 90% people would approach it. And if you're interested to find out the best instant shortcut for this question, you can check out the course link in the description. So let's start. Rajesh and Vimal own 20 hectares and 30 hectares of agricultural land. The cultivation area of wheat and mustard for Vimal is 5 is to 3. Now Vimal owned 30 hectares of land. So for Vimal, I can say wheat and mustard will be 5/8 of the total and 3/8 of the total respectively. Because this ratio is 5 is to 3, we have seen this in ratios chapter that if the ratio is 5 is to 3, the first quantity is 5/8 of the total and second quantity is 3/8 of the total. Since Vimal's total land ownership is 30 hectares, so wheat cultivation is 5 by 8 of 30 and the mustard cultivation is 3 by 8 of 30. And now let's observe the total. The total land available is 30 hectares by Vimal and 20 hectares by Rajesh. This sum becomes 50 hectares, right? Now, out of this 50, the ratio of wheat and mustard is 11 is to 9. So 11 by 20th of the total is wheat and 9 by 20th of the total is basically mustard. Let's calculate these values that we have written so far. For Vimal, the wheat cultivation is 5 into 30 upon 8, or this is 18.75. Subtract this from 30, you will basically get 11.25. You can also calculate 3/8 of 30. Now let's talk about the total wheat cultivation. 11 by 20th of 50. 2 and 2 cancel, that's 55 upon 2, 27.5. And subtract that from 50, you get the mustard cultivation, or you can find out 9 by 20th of 50 also, 22.5 hectares. Now, the total cultivation of wheat is 27.5. Out of this, the cultivation by Vimal is 18.75. So what's the cultivation by Rajesh? 27.5 minus 18.75. And that becomes 8.75. And the remaining cultivation will be from mustard. So the total mustard cultivation is 22.5. Out of that, Vimal has 11.25. So you subtract the two, or you can subtract 8.75 also from 20. You'll get the same value, 11.25. 11.25 is the cultivation of mustard by Rajesh. So the question demands the ratio of 8.75 is to 11.25. This ratio is basically 875 upon 1125. I think we can cancel out 25 above and below. 875, if I divide by 25, I'm going to get 35. And 1125 upon 25 divided by 25 will be 45. Again, cancelling out 5, this basically gives me 7 by 9, or the ratio of wheat and mustard cultivation in the land owned by Rajesh is 7 is to 9. The B option. Okay, that's how we solve this particular question. So that is the conventional way of how we particularly solve this question. There is a very quick shortcut, and for that you can check out the course link in the description where I've explained this shortcut and the connecting concept and all other concepts to ace the quant section in the CAT exam. Hi everyone, this is your next question from CAT 24, the third slot. Please pause the video and try this question, and you may resume for its solution. So the situation has been shown here. We have a regular octagon ABCDEFGH. It has sides of length 6 centimeters each. We want the area of the square ACEG as shown in this question. So ABCDEFGH is a regular octagon. For any regular polygon, the value of each interior angle will be n minus 2 into 180 divided by n, where n is the number of sides. So for the regular octagon, each interior angle would be putting n as 8, 8 minus 2, 6 into 180 divided by 8. So we can cancel out 4 here, 2s are and 45s are, 2 1s are and 2 3s are. 3 into 45 is 135 degrees. So for this regular octagon, each interior angle is 135 degrees. So matter of factly, angle ABC would also be 135 degrees. It's a regular octagon, so all sides are equal, and length of each side is 6. AB will be 6 and BC will also be equal to 6. Now let's observe a triangle ABC. ABC, an isosceles triangle, has AC is equal to suppose X. And now in triangle ABC, with respect to the angle ABC, I can write the cosine rule. Let's write the cosine rule with respect to angle ABC. It will be cos or cosine of 135 will be equal to 6 square plus 6 square minus x square divided by 2 into 6 into 6. Now using trigonometry, we can find out cos 135 as cos of 180 minus 45 or minus cos 45, which will be equal to 6 square plus 6 square, 36 plus 36, 72 minus x square divided by 2 into 6 is again 36 into 2, 72. So minus of cos 45, which is minus 1 by root 2, and 72 will cross multiply, we'll get 72 with a minus sign upon root 2 is equal to 72 minus x square. If you observe now, 72 can also be further written as 36 into 2. So a root 2 and root 2 will get cancelled. I'll have root 2 above. The left hand side is minus 36 into root 2 is equal to 72 minus x square. So take x square on the left hand side and this term on the right. We will get x square is equal to 72 plus 36 root 2. Between these two terms, if I take a 36 outside, it will become 36 into 2 plus root 2. Guys, ACEG will be a square also mentioned in the question. AC is x and x square is the area of the square. So what we have found already is the area of the square, 36 into 2 plus root 2. This is very clearly our C option. There are many other ways of getting the answer here, but I find this as the most convenient. Very easily we get the answer as option C, 36 into 2 plus root 2. Hi everyone, so this is your last question from CAT 24, the third slot. Please pause the video and try it once before you look at the solution. Okay, a tough one to crack, a really good question, beautiful question. So, the number of distinct real values of x satisfying the equation max of x comma 2 minus min of x comma 2 is equal to mod of x plus 2 minus mod of x minus 2. Alright, so first things first, let's treat the left hand side as a function. That is, y is equal to max of x comma 2 minus minimum of x comma 2. Okay, so we'll try to first plot the graph of this particular function, right? So we basically consider two possibilities. The first possibility is when x is greater than 2. When x is greater than 2, max of x comma 2 will obviously be x because x is more than 2 and you're always taking the maximum value, minus minimum of x comma 2 will be 2 only because 2 is less than x. So when x is greater than 2, the graph will be y is equal to x minus 2. Similarly, if I take the condition that x is less than 2, if x is less than 2, the max of x comma 2 will basically be equal to 2 only because 2 is more than x and we are taking the maximum, minus the minimum of x comma 2 will be equal to x only because x is less than 2 and you're taking the minimum of these two values. So when x is less than 2, the graph you will refer is y is equal to 2 minus x. And next, when you put x is equal to 2, max of 2 comma 2 will be 2 only and minimum of 2 comma 2 is also 2. The difference of these two will be 0. So at x equal to 2, y will be equal to 0. So we have first drawn the line x is equal to 2. At x is equal to 2, the y coordinate is 0. So this is the point, x is 2 and y is 0. Now, beyond x is equal to 2, the graph we are going to refer is y is equal to x minus 2, right? It is going to be something like this. Similarly, when you take x less than 2, we are taking the region to the left of x equal to 2. So we'll refer this graph and it will look something like this. Okay, so this is the first graph, that is y is equal to max of x comma 2 minus min of x comma 2. It will look something like this. Alright, so the right hand side of this given equation is mod of x plus 2 minus mod of x minus 2. So basically I'm required to plot the graph y is equal to mod of x plus 2 minus mod of x minus 2. Now in this, I will have to take three possibilities, guys. The first possibility is when x is less than minus 2. The second is when x is between minus 2 and plus 2. And the third case is when x is greater than 2. Now when x is less than minus 2, by default it is less than 2 also. So both the mods will give you negative outputs. Mod of x plus 2 will be minus of x plus 2. Minus mod of x minus 2 will be minus of x minus 2 or 2 minus x. When you open these brackets, you will get minus x minus 2 plus x. And the x gets cancelled out. Minus 2 minus 2 is minus 4. This tells me that beyond x, that is minus 2, or whenever x is less than minus 2, the value of y is a constant or minus 4. We'll draw x is equal to minus 2. And beyond this, we'll take the value of y as minus 4. It's a constant. So we indicate it like this. Y is equal to minus 4. And now we could observe something similar for x greater than 2. Since x is greater than 2, it is by default greater than minus 2 also. So mod of x plus 2 will be x plus 2 because it's a positive number. And minus of mod of x minus 2 will be again x minus 2 only. When you open the bracket, you get x plus 2 minus x plus 2. X cancels, 2 plus 2 is 4. So we can conclude that beyond x equal to 2 means to the right of x equal to 2, the value of y is a constant, it is 4. So first step is we draw our line x equal to 2 and to the right of it we have drawn the line y is equal to 4. Lastly, we talk about the region x is greater than minus 2 but less than plus 2. In this case, x being greater than minus 2, mod of x plus 2 will be x plus 2 only. But since x is less than 2, x minus 2 is negative and mod of a negative number is always minus. So it will be minus of 2 minus x, plus 2 and minus 2 cancels, minus and minus becomes plus x. So in this case, y becomes equal to 2x. That means in the region minus 2 to 2, the graph will be y is equal to 2x. So we draw the graph of y is equal to 2x. And this is how we get the graphs of both the equations. Lastly, we need their point of intersections. So we can try by overlapping one over the other. Now we can clearly observe these 2 points of intersection. This is the first one in black and this is the second one in black. So the answer is there are exactly 2 points of intersections of these 2 graphs, right? Alright, now I believe this particular website should be your best friend for your CAT prep because it immensely helps you in functions and graphs. So now we'll plot the entire thing and we'll see how the graphs look like as a confirmation. So the first graph is y is equal to maximum of 2 comma x minus minimum of same 2 comma x. And this is exactly what we drew, right? So we are on the right track, kind of on the right track. Next, y is equal to mod of x plus 2 minus mod of x minus 2. Right? This is exactly what we have. We have seen 2 points of intersection, and these are your 2 points of intersection. And thereby your answer is there are exactly 2 distinct solutions to the given equation. Hi, don't forget to check out my course for the quant section of the CAT exam, where I've explained all concepts, tips and tricks, shortcuts, and past year questions in great detail.